Alright, now we're going to be taking a look at slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is this equation y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope, b stands for the y-intercept, it's also where we begin, and yes, of course it should be spelled begin, but we start here. Okay, x, y is just a coordinate that you would plug numbers into. And here we go. We're going to use formulas. These are linear equations that we want to write in y equals mx plus b form by solving for y. And so what that means is we got to identify where y is and get everything that's with the y to the other side. The only thing that's with the y is this 3x. So we take and subtract the 3x to the other side, and you'll get y equals negative 3x plus 2. And notice I put the 2 further to the right because now it's underneath where the b should be. So we've got the m in front of the x and the b over behind it. Now what that means is the 3 is my m, negative 3, and that's my slope. And then the 2 is my b, and that is my y-intercept. And I'll talk about what that is a little bit further on the next example here. So we've got to do the same thing here. It's a little bit more work. When I identify where the y is, there's something next to it. By that I mean the negative 3. So there's going to be a little bit more work, but the first step is again to move this negative 3x, or this positive 3x, to make it negative 3x on the other side. And that's going to give me negative 3y equals negative 3x plus 12. So I've still got something with y, that's the negative 3. It's multiplying by y, so the opposite of multiplying by y is dividing by, or sorry, the opposite of multiplying by negative 3 is dividing by negative 3 from everything. And when I divide negative 3 from everything, it causes the y to now be alone, and I get y equals, these cancel, that's a positive x, and this reduces to negative 4. So the answer in slope-intercept form is y equals x minus 4, and the slope is whatever's in front of the x. Well, there's nothing in front of the x. Well, there's always something, even though it doesn't look like there is, and that's an imaginary 1. It's 1 times x, so that means your m is 1, and your b is whatever's back behind it, and that is this negative 4. So that's your negative 4, that's your y-intercept. So this is your slope, and this is your y-intercept. Okay, so now let's actually see that in an application problem. We're graphing x plus 4y equals 6, and we do that by getting y alone first to identify the, well, first of all, let me back up. I could show you how to, we've already learned how to graph it using intercepts. Intercepts I could quickly find by scribbling out the y and seeing that the x-intercept is 6, and that's over here, and then I could erase this and cross out the x and see that my y-intercept is going to be 6 over 4 if I divide it by 4, and that would be 3 halves. So the y-intercept is going to be 3 halves right there. So this is where my line is going to be using the intercepts the old way. So I'm just reiterating the fact that you can do it the other way. We already know. So now the new way is to get y alone by subtracting the x to the other side, and that gives me 4y equals negative x plus 6, and then I divide by 4, and that gives me y equals negative 1/4 x plus, if I reduce the 6/4, that reduces to 3 halves. And so what this means is my y-intercept is 3 halves, right there, and the slope from there is negative 1 over 4. That means I should go down 1, so there's a distance 1 down, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4. That's right here on this line. Now let me back that up just a little bit and you can see how that is exactly one distance of 1 down, but over 4 from here. So this is over 4 down 1. And so that's using the y-intercept and counting slope to graph a line. if I was to do another example, like 2x plus 4y equals 8, I would, again, subtract the x to the other side and get negative 2x from both sides. And I would get 4y equals negative 2x plus 8. And then I go ahead and divide by 4 to get the y all the way alone. And the equation then gives me y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. So this equation, I identify that my y-intercept is 2. That means I begin at 2, so I start there at 2, beginning at 2 on the y-axis here. And then from there I count slope, negative 1/2. So that means from that point I go down 1 over 2. You rise down 2, and by rise I mean you go vertically down, and then run to the right 2. And then all you do is connect those dots. And you can keep counting. I can go down 1 over 2 more. And you could actually count the other way. I could go up 1 over 2 right here and connect those dots. Up 1 over 2. And you can see it keeps counting the same slope in both directions. So that's how you graph a line using the slope-intercept form. Finding the beginning and then counting slope.